right, everybody, what's going on? How y'all doing? Welcome to today's edition of Swag Talk, the show we cover the swag inside and out. Of course, I'm your tour guide around the swag Wells coming at you, and this is the final recap of the 2024 season. Celebration Bowl, big victory for Jackson State, picking up the swag's third win in this bowl game, second in a row. JSU is the HBCU national champs, and they did their thing, man. So congrats to JSU. For going out there and defeating South Carolina State 28-7. We're going to talk about that game, get my thoughts on it. And, we're just going to, do this last recap, man. And we got a lot of other football stuff coming at you in the coming weeks. We're going to do season recaps. We're probably going to take a look at some of the individual statistical category winners. And, on Swag Smoke, we're going to do a couple things, naming our top players and things like that. So it's still a lot of football coming at you, but we're also going to have some basketball coming at you. I'm going to have a kind of preview of sorts on next week. So, we're going to kind of dip our toe in the basketball. We're still going to do football, so don't go away just because the actual season is over. As y'all know, nowadays football is like a year-round thing. We got recruiting. We got the transfer portal. We got coaching searches still going on. We got the Legacy Bowl, NFL draft, all of that stuff. So it's still a lot of football to go. Spring football will be here before you know it. So, it's like a year-round thing. So we're going to continue to bring you football content, but we're going to throw some basketball stuff in the mix and have a good time with that. So with that being said, our Swag Talk Pick'em contest is over, and the winner is, of course, the big soldier, Jamie G, man. He came out on top with 71 points this week. So he is the big winner of the championship. So salute to my boy for getting it done. And salute to everybody who played, man. Like I said, I thank everybody for doing this. Like I said, we had upwards to 35 people playing this game. So salute to everybody who played. We're going to do this again next year. We'll run it back, and we'll have a good time again. Also, hit those socials, Facebook and Instagram are both Swag Talk, Twitter, Swag Talk 76. Don't forget to like the video, comment, and share your thoughts on the game. And hit the subscribe button to become a part of the Swag Talk fam, man. And we definitely appreciate you if you've already subscribed. If you haven't, we're going to thank you in advance. And hit that notification bell, especially now, because we're going to have a lot of videos dropping on different days, not just on Wednesdays and Sundays. So just keep it locked and be alerted to when any of that stuff come out. So let's go ahead and jump into this recap. Like I said, JSU picks up the victory 28-7. I don't even really think the game was as close as the final score was. I think JSU really came out in this game, and they had a couple early hiccups, but that kind of early filling out process. But I thought this was a tremendous defensive effort for Jackson State offense. Got the plays done that when they needed to get them done. They did have a punt return touchdown call back and a pick six call back, so that's 2 extra touchdowns that could have been thrown in the mix. It could have made this game even worse. But I want to take a look at the effort that Jackson State defense put on in this game. South Carolina State. We're going to look at their drive chart and see what they did. They had the ball 2 times in the first quarter. First, they got the ball on their own 36. And they went 5 plays and 15 yards and punted. And then the next drive started at their own 35. Again, they went 5 plays, 20 yards, and punted. They got the ball back in the second quarter at their own 26. They went 3 and out and punted. The next drive started at the Jackson State 32. They turned the ball over on downs. They went 6 plays and 13 yards. The next drive started at their The next drive started at their 29. They went 3 and out and punted. Their drive after that started at their own 40. They drove to their 45 and punted again, 3 and out. The last drive of the first half started at the Jackson State 40, which was the best field position they had all game. They went 2 plays and threw an interception, which returned for a touchdown but called back because of holding. So as you can see in the first half, they didn't really pick up any major yardage. The longest drive in the first half was 20 yards. Their deepest penetration was the Jackson State 40, the Jackson State 32. That was their deepest penetration when they turned the ball over on downs. and that was actually their best drive of the day in terms of plays. 6 plays and 13 yards, the longest drive period in the first half was 20 yards. So you can see they didn't really do a lot with the ball in the first half. Second half, they only had 5 possessions in the second half. They started off at the Jackson State 33 after interception. Um, they ended up losing yards. They lost 16 yards on that drive and punted. They went 3 and out and punted. They got the ball at their own 10 after a punt. They went 3 and out again, picked up 8 yards and punted. Fourth quarter, they got the ball after a kickoff at the 20. They drove down and scored. That was the best drive of the night. 8 plays, 80 yards, and ended in a touchdown. And then they got the ball at their own 20 again after Jackson State attempted a field goal. They drove 3 plays and threw an interception. And then the final drive started at their own 25. They did get down to the Jackson State 5-yard line, and they turned the ball over on down. So not a good day for South Carolina State offensively. And the Jackson State defense was very, very solid. Really did not allow them to get any momentum early. Like I said, their first 2 drives accounted for 35 yards, and after that, they had 1 yard, 13 is 14, 22, 5 is 27. So they had 35 yards on their first 2 drives in the first half. They had 27 yards on their next 5 drives in the second half, and that's just not gonna get it done. The second half, same thing, 80 yards on 1 drive, and after that, you're looking at like 35 yards again. So just nothing was that. Jackson State didn't get them anything, and this was a good defensive effort for JSU. Like I said, offense did what they needed to do. They hit some big plays down the field. They were able to run the ball. It was tight at times, but they were able to get it done. And like I said, 28-7 was the score. We look at the scoring. Jackson State scored first in the second quarter with 11:22 left when Jonas Fortillion caught a 4-yard pass from Jacoby and Morgan. Extra point good, 19 plays, 78 yards, 9:39 off the clock. That was a 7-0 lead for Jackson State. 5:39 left in the second quarter. Mulligan 1-yard run for Jackson State, extra point good. That capped a 2-play, 68-yard drive. Jackson State led 14-0, and that would be the halftime score. After a scoreless third quarter, with 14:48 left in the game, Mulligan 2-yard run, extra point good, 21-0. South Carolina State will get on the board with 11:13 left in the game with Eric Phoenix. We'll get a 3-yard run, extra point good, 8 plays, 80 yards. That took 3:27 off the clock, 21-7. And then with 4:50 left in the game, Fortillion, 14-yard pass from Morgan, extra point good. That was a 1-play drive that took 14 yards, 55 seconds off the clock, 28-7. And like I said, that will be our final score. In the team stats, Jackson State 19 first down, South Carolina State 10, 152 yards on the ground for Jackson State, 51 carries, 3.0 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. Again, like I say, if Jackson State gets to 150 on the ground, they're gonna win. That's been my formula for them all year, and it remained the same. I mean, they got 152. That's a little bit over 150, but that they get to 150, I think they got as good a chance as any of winning that game. South Carolina State 30 yards on the ground, 19 carries, 1.6 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. They finished with 148 yards passing, 15 of 34, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Jackson State 233 through the air, 15 of 22, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Total offense, Jackson State 385 yards on 73 plays, 5.3 yards per play. They did fumble once, but didn't lose it. They had 9 penalties for 81 yards. South Carolina State, 178 yards of offense, 53 plays, 3.4 yards per play. They fumbled once, didn't lose it. They had 3 penalties for 24 yards. Jackson State punted 3 times for 43-yard average. South Carolina State 7 punts for a 40.9-yard average. Third downs, Jackson State 9 of 16. They had 1 or 2 on fourth down. They were 4 or 5 in the red zone, and they had 3 sacks. South Carolina State two or 13 on third down, 1 or 3 on fourth down, 1 or 2 in the red zone. They had 1 sack on the night. Jackson State did also miss 2 field goals. So, and you look at it that, like, when you look at it that way, two field goals missed, two touchdowns called off. That's 20. That's basically 20 points. So it really could have been a 48-7 game if you did it that way. But they took advantage of every opportunity. They did what they had to do, and they got the win. Morgan, 15 of 21 for Jackson State, 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked once. Good bounce back game for him. I know he had a little bit of a rocky game against in the SWAC championship before he went out injured, but this was the game he needed to have coming back in this game. He's been a guy that some people have been hard on a lot this season, but he's always there and he's always getting the job done, and he got it done here. Eric Phoenix, 13 of 31, 143 yards passing, no touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked twice. Ryan Stubblefield, 2 of 3 for 5 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 sack. Herb Mulligan, 25 carries, 71 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Mari Matthews, 11 carries, 55 yards. Jacoby Morgan, 10 for 24. Eric Phoenix led South Carolina State with 8 carries for 17 yards and a touchdown. KZ Adams, 4 for 16. Tyler Smith, 3 for 7. Isaiah Spencer led Jackson State with 3 catches for 123 yards. Fortillian, 6 for 43 and 2 touchdowns. Dupree, 3 for 31. And Gardner, 2 for 23. Nigel Johnson led South Carolina State with 1 catch for 64 yards. Smith Brown, 5 for 24. Ruffin, 2 for 21. Tony, 2 for 20. High, 4 for 16. When you look at the numbers that those guys put up all season, just seeing Smith Brown with only 24 yards and High with only 16, Tony with 20, that shows the effort that Jackson State defense really put on. I think you cannot let that get lost in the sauce, that this defense played a tremendous game. This offense was very high flying, and they really shut them down. They dominated them. They did not give them anything. It wasn't even a case of like they were playing well early and then the door got slammed on them. They never really got going. So this was just a tremendous defensive effort, and just slamming the door on the team from the get-go. Hawkins led Jackson State with 6 tackles. Jeremiah Williams, who was the defensive MVP of the game, 2 tackles for loss and 1 sack. It says Guthrie also had a sack. And Ashton Taylor, who was a guy I like a lot, he had a sack as well, also a tackle for loss. Philip Webb, a tackle for loss. Guthrie, a tackle for loss. Morgan was the offensive MVP of the game. Interception went to Petty and Hawkins. South Carolina State was led on defense by Aaron Smith with 17 tackles. He also had 1 tackle for loss. Josh Barker, 3 tackles for loss to lead the team. Addison, 1.5 tackle for loss. Broughton, half a tackle for loss. When you look at their big guys, Broughton, he had 6 tackles on the night, and Hall, I think he went out injured early, and he finished the night with 1 tackle. So that, those were the guys that they were counting on, and they really couldn't impact the game a whole lot. And that, that just again goes credit to Jackson State. One sack for Barker. This was a defense that came in the game with 36 sacks. And they finished with 1. I think you cannot let anything get lost in the effort that Jackson State put on in this game against a team that put up some tremendous numbers all season. I think it's only fair to give them all the flowers, because when you look at what this team came into the game with, and me and other people included felt like this would be a closer game. Jackson State did not allow it to ever be a close game, other than 0-0 in the first quarter. But that South Carolina State just never really got into it, and they finished with 1 interception on the night. That was by Addison. And so even with everything, the Tigers pull out a big win. So I think they took care of business and got the job done. And now they are poised to be able to run it back next season. And they, they're going to come in as the odds-on favorite in the SWAC. Everybody's going to be chasing them, and I think those guys will be up to the challenge. South Carolina State, it's going to be interesting to see, how they rebound. This was kind of a put your chips all in type of season, with a new coach and bringing in a lot of guys, to kind of get them over the hump early. And they got there, but then they came up short at the end. So it'd be interesting to see how both these teams fare. And the next game we have will be the SMEAC SWAC Challenge, which will be Southern and North Dakota, Southern and North Carolina Central. I'm still thinking FCS playoffs from last night. Southern and North Carolina Central taking it on in Atlanta to start the season off next season. So we got a lot of stuff to cover between then and now. And so we're going to continue with the SWAC football. And like I said, we're going to continue with SWAC basketball. And, it's going to be all SWAC all the time on SWAC Talk. And of course, SWAC Smoke coming at you on Thursdays from now to then. And just keep it locked in with us, man. And we're going to continue to bring y'all this good stuff. So with that being said, man, I'm your tour guide around the SWAC Sewell signing out. Again, congratulations to Coach Taylor and Jackson State and all the Tiger Nation, man. Congratulations to y'all. Y'all got the right to, get your stuff off all summer and spring, man. Have your fun, man. Enjoy it. Y'all went through a lot. Y'all took a lot of shots from people. Hey, it's time to give them back. So have fun and y'all just keep it going, man. And we'll catch y'all on our next episode of SWAC Talk, which will probably be Tuesday. I'm gonna have my basketball preview. So y'all keep it locked here, and we'll catch y'all then. We out of here. Peace.